Accents, as you know, played a pivotal role in that movie, and they add a lot of flavor, too, in real life.
But many language experts believe that regional accents are slowly disappearing. Rocca went out to see if Americans really are starting to sound alike.
Nobody's got accents anymore, unless you're from Europe. But you don't get any New York accents.
If anyone knows about the disappearance of the New York City accent, it's this man, the guy with the New York City accent.
Marty took it from me. I didn't take it from Marty.
Right.
He's one of the New Yorkers featured in If These Knishes Could Talk.
Forget about it.
A documentary exploring the origins, misconceptions, and stigmas attached to the dialect.
People think of it as sort of kind of a gruff and angry and thuggish kind of voice.
Why don't you get that to that bald dome of yours?
It's also quite charming and endearing.
You saved my life in a lot of ways. Well, you've been there for me, too.
Accents reflect the diversity of this country, from Boston to New York in the Northeast to Minnesota and Chicago in the Midwest.
Say there's no skull. I mean, that's old dad land won't grow nothing, you know.
From the mountain speak of Appalachia to the southern twang.
Do you think that was kind to bring your good-looking brother down here just to break my poor, simple country girl's heart?
They both define and differentiate. Why do accents matter?
People want to be connected to places, to traditions, and accents are the strongest indicator of that. What would be a continuous tradition? Language.
Walt Wolfram has been studying language and dialect for 5 decades.
Studying dialects in North Carolina is like dying and coming to dialect heaven. It's incredible. There's no state that has a richer tradition.
To learn more about that rich tradition, we ferried to Ocracoke Island, a tiny stretch of sand along North Carolina's Outer Banks.
We toured on the South Shore last night, water fart night moonshine, no fish. What you suppose matter is our Uncle Woods?
We're going to need to subtitle that. There we met 3 longtime residents who speak with what's known as the Ocracoke brogue.
4 or 5 years ago in London, England, and 2 or 3 people asked me over there did I have an Australian accent?
Vince O'Neill, Rex O'Neill, and James Barry Gaskill grew up here and, like generations before them, speak with the brogue. Has this town changed a lot?
It has changed very much so, yeah. I mean, it was a quaint fishing village, is what they call it, a quaint fishing village, but now it's more survived by tourism, to be quite honest with you, you know.
The influx of tourists, while good for the local economy, has changed the way many people here speak.
Do you think that your accent has diminished a little bit as you've gotten older?
Yes, I think some, yeah.
James, if the Ocracoke brogue disappeared in the next 20 or 30 years, would that sadden you?
To a certain extent, it would. Every generation now is losing it, and probably by another generation or so, you won't even notice it.
Are we losing our accents?
Here on Ocracoke, the dialect is fading away and being replaced by a more standard, or mainstream dialect.
That's kind of sad.
Well, I think it's that because historically this dialect has been so tied up with sort of the hoity-toity culture that it's one mark of the traditional culture that is no longer around to identify it.
Many people all over the country are trying to lose their accents, often because of negative associations.
My career has been devoted to trying to neutralize some of the negative stereotypes of dialect. They learned their English when they came into contact with the lost colony.
Using education and film,
A New York accent's a little more classy. I said, thanks.
Walt Wolfram and Heather Quinlan are trying to honor the history of accents, while those accents are still around to be heard.
We make a big deal in America, especially about the death of mom and pop stores. The accent is just as integral to that part of America. It needs to stick around, and I hope that it does stick around, and I hope it's not something that we lose ultimately.
I agree with her, Mo. I hope it's not something we lose either. What's your sense?
Well, I hope it doesn't happen. I love difference. Who doesn't love difference? According to Walt Wolfram, what's happening is a lot of the micro accents, say on the Outer Banks, are consolidating. So there used to be a difference, as Charlie knows, between Hatteras and Ocracoke Island. That'll become more of a regional accent. And then with immigration, other accents are rising up. But homogenization is just lousy.
It's boring.
Yeah, it's boring. It's like a dinner party where everybody agrees on everything.
Did you ever try to lose yours, Charlie? Because you have an
I
accent.
still have
here.
it. I say words that remind people where I came from.
Naked.
Naked
Yes.
is one of them.
Tornado.
Tornado.
But did you ever try to lose it?
No,
Did you? No, never did.
Never. The fact that North Carolina is dialect heaven, I will always remember.
And is that right, that Asheville is like a different country?
Oh, very much so. And some of those islands are affected in terms of the dialect by where people came from, you know, the immigration pattern.
Can people lose if they want to?
Well, some people are trying to because of what Wolfram calls accent profiling or linguistic profiling. You call for a job and somebody tells you because of your accent, oh, that job is filled, which does happen a lot, apparently. There's some debate as to whether the New York accent is being lost. Another linguistics professor says it's a class issue, that if you go to Bensonhurst, people who make less money do have the classic New York accent, but in Manhattan, you know, on the Upper East Side, it's gone.
It's gone. All right. Thank you, Mo.